Welcome back. We've been considering the priority that Jesus placed upon spending personal, intimate time with the Father. Today I'd like to look at the account of Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration. It's recorded in Luke chapter 9, beginning at verse 28. Now it came to pass, about 8 days after these sayings, that he took Peter, John, and James, and went up on the mountain to pray. As he prayed, the appearance of his face was altered, and his robe became white and glistening. And behold, two men talked with him, who were Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spoke of his decease, which he was about to accomplish at Jerusalem. But Peter and those with him were heavy with sleep. And when they were fully awake, they saw his glory and the two men who stood with him. Then it happened, as they were parting from him, that Peter said to Jesus, Master, it is good for us to be here, and let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah, not knowing what he said. While he was saying this, a cloud came and overshadowed them, and they were fearful as they entered the cloud. And a voice came out of the cloud saying, This is my beloved Son, hear him. When the voice had ceased, Jesus was found alone. But they kept quiet and told no one in those days any of the things that they had seen. Peter, James, and John had a special privilege given to them. They were invited, out of all people, to go with the Lord up the mountain to pray. Now, they didn't know what was going to happen when they went up that mountain. They knew that they were just being invited to be with the Lord. But while they were up there, Jesus was transfigured. He was metamorphosed into the glory that he had with the Father prior to his coming, and that he would have with the Father after he was ascended. What an awesome experience. What an awesome privilege. The problem is, they fell asleep. And they missed it. They missed it. Jesus gave them the opportunity to come and watch this metamorphosis happen. And as he prayed and was changed, they slept. It was after he was metamorphosed and after Elijah and Moses came to be with him that they were finally awakened. And being awakened, they saw Jesus in this transfigured state, and they saw Elijah and Moses with him. And Peter, not knowing what else to do, as Peter was used to doing, just blundered something out and said, Lord, it's good for us to be here. We can make 3 tents. We can put up 3 tents, 3 tabernacles, one for you and one for Moses, one for Elijah. Basically equating Jesus with Moses and Elijah, making him just another good prophet. But the Father put a stop to that pretty quickly and spoke to him out of the cloud and said, This is my beloved Son, hear him. Reading that account, listening to that account, meditating on it, I have to wonder about myself. And that is, how many times do I miss a special privilege of fellowship with Christ or with the Father because I'd rather sleep? Because I'm too tired to pray. Because I'm too tired to watch. Because I'm too tired to stay in the presence of the Lord. It's kind of neat reading it as well to realize the grace of God in the midst of all that. Jesus could have been metamorphosed, gone through the whole situation with Elijah and Moses, never waking them up. Or when he woke up, seeing them, fully rebuking them and telling them to go away, that they had lost their opportunity. But he didn't do that. Rather, he gave them the privilege of seeing his metamorphosis anyway. They just didn't get to see it happen. I'm reminded of Paul's statement in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, talking about our metamorphosis as I consider this time of Peter and James and John and their growing period here. We read in 2 Corinthians 3, verses 16 to 18, "Nevertheless, when one turns to the Lord, the veil is taken away. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. But we all, with unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory, just as by the Spirit of the Lord." But note how that transformation process happens. We all, with unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory. We are transformed from glory to glory as we look upon His glory. We are being transformed as we look upon His transformation. I wonder how much more I would be transformed into the image of Christ had I been availed myself of many more of my opportunities to be in fellowship with Him. God is transforming us. That's His purpose for us. In Romans 8:28 and 29, many people know Romans 8:28, for we know that all things work together for good to those who love God and are the called according to His purpose. But then we're told His purpose in verse 29, and that is to be conformed to the image of Christ, to be conformed to the image of His Son, that He might be the firstborn among many brethren. God's desire is for you to be transformed, just like Christ was transformed. And He is doing that work in you. But that work will be done in you as you spend more and more time in fellowship with Him. Take some time, if you haven't already, to go before the Lord in prayer. Watch. Don't sleep. Spend time in fellowship with Him. Rejoice in the opportunity and ask Him to transform you into the image of Christ. That is His purpose. Take time to pray and have a blessed day.